Bonjour tout le monde. Hello everyone. Aujourd'hui c'est mercredi, le 4 octobre. Today is Wednesday, October 4th. Le mot de passe, moi aussi. La question de la semaine, qu'est-ce que tu as fait ce week-end? You looked at this lundi. Qu'est-ce que tu as fait ce week-end? What, qu'est-ce que tu as fait, did you do ce week-end? My answer was, j'ai joué à un jeu de société. So I'm going to use that when I make my flip video. Aujourd'hui, dans l'histoire, il y a une discussion, so we'll look at that momentarily. You have your flip video with both your mot de passe, la question de la semaine, this week's question, et les gestes TPR. So let's take a look at those really fast. Les gestes for this week, you're going to need to do je danse, je souris, je pleure. And if you're not sure about what those look like, make sure you watch this video. It's behind my face right now, but watch this video on this slide to get those gestes, the gestures that you're supposed to do with those. Et la chanson de la semaine, we are still singing about the numbers from 21, 21, up to 50, 50. So watch that, get comfortable with those. And then we're going to look at une personne spéciale. We're going to just look at the interview and the questions that I asked our personne spéciale. When I say personne spéciale, that means special person. I'm sure many of you have figured this out by now, but I realized I have not explicitly said this, but most of the time, adjectives, describing words, come after the words that they're describing in French. So we say special person in English, but in French it's literally person special, personne spéciale. So just be aware of that. Again, I'm sure many of you have noticed that already, but just in case, I wanted to make sure I mentioned it. So la personne spéciale, we'll look at my interview with her in a little bit, but first, let's talk about aujourd'hui dans l'histoire. Aujourd'hui, c'est mercredi, le 4 octobre. En 1830, la Belgique est devenue indépendante. Belgium became independent. La Belgique faisait partie des Pays-Bas. Before, it was a part of the Netherlands, les Pays-Bas. So la Belgique is this darker green country here, et les Pays-Bas is just north, about where my cursor is here. Mais, en 1830, on this date, le 4 octobre, la Belgique est devenue indépendante. So it gained its independence from the Netherlands. Il y a trois langues officielles en Belgique, le français, le néerlandais, et l'allemand. Le français, we know. Le néerlandais, Dutch, which is the language that's spoken aux Pays-Bas, in the Netherlands. Et l'allemand, German. So le néerlandais makes sense because it used to be part of les Pays-Bas, and Dutch is what's spoken there. Belgium is surrounded by France, so le français, et l'Allemagne, Germany, which is why l'allemand. So, trois langues officielles. There's another example where we see officiel, the describing word, after what it's describing, langue. So instead of saying official languages, we say literally languages official. Trois langues officielles. Il y a un roi, a king, un roi belge, qui s'appelle Philippe. Il s'appelle Philippe. Un roi, a king. So, as you may or may not already know, a lot of countries do still have a royal family. They may or may not have much say in the government. We hear a lot about Britain's royal family, for example, which does have some say in the government, even though they also have a non-royal government. They have a parliament. But there are other countries like Belgium, like Spain, like Monaco, and others that have a royal family that again has varying levels of actual power, but they're still around and acknowledged. So just FYI. Et Bruxelles est la capitale. Brussels is how we say this in English, is the capital of Belgium, la Belgique. Donc, what country was Belgium part of before it became independent? We talked about that a few minutes ago. Vrai ou faux? True or false? Vrai ou faux? Belgium has a king. Just talked about that as well. Okay. Flip video, I basically already told you the elements of that, but just to reiterate, we have bonjour, le mot de passe, moi aussi, qu'est-ce que tu as fait ce weekend, using that Jamboard, les gestes, make sure you're doing the gesture while you're saying the thing, je souris, je danse, je pleure, au revoir. You guys have been doing a great job with those. La personne spéciale. So I just want to go through these questions, and then you're going to see an example of me asking these questions to a student. So, tu t'appelles comment? Same thing as comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Je m'appelle. Il s'appelle. Elle s'appelle. Elle s'appelle. Tu as quel âge? J'ai 13 ans if you are 13. J'ai 16 ans if you are 16. We have a wide range of ages in this class. And then talking about somebody, il a 13 ans. Elle a 16 ans. Yell here, as I've probably mentioned before, but it's worth repeating, is they, them, or is they, rather, as a neutral pronoun. So people who prefer the pronouns they, them can use yell, I-E-L, en français. Yell. Okay. Tu es en quelle année? Je suis en année 8. Je suis en année 10. It's going to vary for all of you. And then to talk about somebody, il est en année 8. Il est en année 10. Elle est en année 10. Elle est en année 8. Où est-ce que tu habites? J'habite à Les Summits. Il habite à Greenwood. Elle habite à Les Summits. Maybe you have a second house where you live with another family member part-time. So, il habite à Kansas City. Elle habite à Blue Springs, etc. And then lastly, comment es-tu? Comment es-tu? Comment is literally asking how are you, but it's in the sense of what are you like. So, comment es-tu? Je suis grand. Je suis petit. Je suis de taille moyenne. J'ai les yeux bruns. J'ai les yeux bleus. J'ai les yeux noisettes. So these are ways that we can describe ourselves. Very basic ways, but we'll learn more. So in this interview on the next slide, if you watch it, you can start at minute 15, minute 15. You don't need to watch the whole video, but that's where the interview part starts. And you'll hear me asking and hear our interviewee answering the questions on these two slides. Okay, so once you have done your flip video, your answered the questions about Aujourd'hui dans l'Histoire, and taken a look at La Personne Spéciale, the questions as well as the video, you'll be all set for today. Au revoir tout le monde!